want to go over the discussion prompt. Okay. So for the Unit 3 discussion, the first section is about the Free Hugs campaign, and you need to watch the video. So please remember to do that one, because a lot of people forget that, the Free Hugs campaign. So you need to watch the video and then read about it. And then within discussion prompt, it asks you to find the verbal and the nonverbal messages within the video. So there's a lot of different interpretations with that, so just try to figure out what you see in the video. I mean, it's people's faces, that's nonverbal, or what they say to each other, what they say to the guy asking for the free hugs. That's all has to do with the verbal and then the nonverbal dimension. So make sure to answer that question. That's the first one. And then consider how your interpretation of the video changed after reading about it. So then reflect, like, did you think the video was moving, or what did you think of the entire campaign? Were you like, oh, this is silly, and then you're like, oh my god, I love it? You know, that's reflecting on it. That's what it means by what consider your interpretation video changed after reading about it. So remember to answer those two questions. Remember, these prompts don't have, even if there's no question mark at the end of it, that doesn't mean it should not be discussed. Most of what's covered in the prompt has to be discussed. This way you don't lose points over answering it. Okay? So then, for this discussion, describe two situations in your own life, one verbal and one nonverbal, where you feel that you have communicated poorly. So here, this is where I want to emphasize the whole making a connection between the example and then making a connection between a concept. Because at the end it says, refer to specific information given in the text, videos, and web pages to discuss how you could have enhanced your communication in the situations you described. So my first example I want to focus on is one verbal. So let's find one verbal incidents that involve poor communication. So a really good example of this would be, let's say you're talking to your friend about let's do the election. No, I'm not going to get into that really specific, but let's use that in the sense you're talking to your friend, and let's say your friend asks you, who did you vote for? And then you say, oh, I voted for Trump. And then you ask your friend, who did you vote for? And then your friend says Biden. And then, oops, now you're on the fight, arguing, and you're both yelling at each other. Why would you vote for that person? And did you not see what this president did? Did you not see what that vice president did? So then, already you're seeing that you're getting into an argument and fight with your friend. So then here, right after you describe that, you say, this connects to regulation rules, right? Because what regulation rules states is that there is a certain guideline for what and who you should talk about something. I mean, that's not the specific definition, but that's what it's about. So that's how you make the connection. So you describe the example of something happened, you got into a fight with a friend, and then you say, this represents a regulative rule. So see how you make that bridge between the example and the connection. What you can also do is you can include the textbook definition of the concept and then say how your example connects to it. You could also do something, so because the prompt asks you how could you have enhanced your communication associated to describe. Excuse me. So what you do is, in the first example, going over, you got into a fight with your friend over talking about the recent election, so you say, well, looking back at this, I could have then considered a dual perspective, right? I should have considered that my other friend doesn't see eye to eye with me in terms of how things are and how they should be and who they want to vote for. So see, that's how you weave in the concept. So let's do another example. So one nonverbal. Let's do this. An example could be, this is a really common one that I see, especially with couples. Let's say you and your partner got into an argument over something. Maybe they didn't clean up after dinner, maybe you asked them to do something, they didn't do that, you got in a disagreement over what to watch, etc. So after describing whatever the argument to be, then you say, oh, I gave my partner the silent treatment. Now, that's silence is a nonverbal communication, right? That's an example of nonverbal communication, by not responding, not saying anything, simply by giving them the silent treatment. So that's a one way of incorporating the concepts. Okay. Alright, let me give you another one, I think, because I didn't talk about silence in the beginning, but that is also another part of nonverbal communication. So let's say, same example, you and your partner got into a fight, and you make a face at them. Maybe you scowl at them, or you like glare at them, and then your partner gets angry at you for making a face at them. That would be kinesics. Kinesics is, remember, body language. So after explaining how you made a face at your partner and then the partner got angry, you can say, well, according to Wood, kinestic communication is communication through body language. And then within my example, I made a face at my partner, and that is demonstrates a form of kinesics. What you can do then is, so remember the prompt is asking you how to enhance that situation, where you can say, well, now that I'm aware that of kinesics, or that physical language is a part of nonverbal dimension, I can be more attentive to my facial expressions in terms of how I'm communicating with others. So remember to always make sure that you answer the prompts. So you need, for this unit, we're looking at two situations. Sorry, let's go to the beginning. So within this unit discussion board, we're looking at the Free Hugs campaign, at the nonverbal and the verbal messages in there, how your interpretation of the campaign changed before and after the video. Then, remember this, try to break everything into separate paragraphs. Then we're looking at instances of poor communication, one verbal and one nonverbal, and then how you could have improved the situation. And within those examples, then you're trying to make the connections to the concepts that we covered or that you found in the textbook. And you can use the other concepts that are covered in the textbook as well. It's up to your choice. I just chose those because those were the most recognizable by students, and I thought those were the most useful. Now the book does cover a large chunk of symbols, and that's a bit extensive, and I think should be another unit. But I don't actually create these courses. You're aware of that. So, but that's something you can still learn about, because symbols are really important as well, because they are, remember, symbols are representations of ideas and things that people hold important to them. So, but yeah, that's a whole other thing. So I'm hoping that I was able to clear everything up in terms of verbal and nonverbal dimensions of communication. If you're not sure of how to find an example of poor communication relative to that, please send me an email, so that way I can help you find one and develop your post, because I don't want students to get into the in the habit of being like, oh, I didn't find an example, I can't respond. Well, let's not try to do that. Let's try to work through it and try to find experiences from the past that can be used as example, and I can try and help you with that, but you gotta email me and let me know. So, as always, please email me if there's any questions or not. I hope this chapter is really clear. I hope you're watching these videos, because, I'm making them. So, yeah. I hope you enjoy this unit, and I hope the discussion board post goes well. Thank you.